Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? And welcome to, for the time being at least, Questions and Answers with Tweak. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to name this show. Leave your ideas for the show name down below, because I can't think of anything interesting or captivating to call the show, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys. However, this is going to be a show that we do every now and again when we have enough questions to answer, where you can essentially ask me anything you want about video games. You can ask me anything you want about me, Tarkov, whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be about a game. You can ask me anything within reason, and I will attempt to answer your question. So where can you submit these questions? You can put them in the YouTube comments down below, and I will answer them on the next time we do one of these videos. You can leave it in my Discord, you can put it on my Instagram, or you can tweet me. So any way works well. I check them all, and today we have a list of questions right here that we're going to get straight into. So our first question comes from Archer. He says, when the heck are you going to play more Rust? I don't know. In the future, maybe. I don't know, though. I like Rust. I think it's a really great game. I just don't have like a big squad to play it with, like a group of people to play Rust with. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future, you never know. We're kind of in a bit of a lull right now, where we're trying to like find other stuff to play while we're waiting for the Tarkov patch to come out. So who knows? Maybe we'll play some Rust soon, but I don't know. No promises. Next question. Marry, fuck, kill Kings, Chicken Prism, or P-Bro? Honestly, I'd fuck Kings, I would kill Chicken Prism, and I'd marry Peebs. Wow, that was super easy. Huntclue, thank you very much for the question. And then we've got Mr. Omega Willie coming in with, what is the best pistol in EFT? I reckon the best pistol in EFT is the 5.7. I have used the Shrimp or the SR1MP a bunch, and I don't like it. I find it really super inconsistent, whereas the 5.7 suppressed, just iron sights, no optic, just a cheeky little SS190 loaded in there. Whew. It is delicious. It is a really good pistol. So yeah, in my opinion, the 5.7 is the best. I don't think there's even any point running any other pistol in Tarkov, but if you like the Shrimp, use the Shrimp. But for me, I'm a 5.7 kind of guy. Next up, we've got a question coming in from Clutch. This is a long one. If you could design a video game from the ground up, what would it look like and feel like? What is something that would make you want to sink another 6,000 hours into a game? Oh, this is Big Boy Brown. Gotcha. Oh, wow. So my ideal like dream game is an open world game similar to Skyrim or Oblivion or like any Elder Scrolls game, really, where it is essentially the entire world with tons of quests, secret areas, secret bosses, and like awesome towns and places to explore, dungeons to explore, tons of loot, tons of different customization options. You can play magic, you can be like summoners, you can be archers, you can be, you know, swordsmen, you can use axes, two-handers, big shields, whatever. Like very similar to like what you can actually do in Skyrim. However, I would want it to be set in the world of like Dark Souls, Bloodborne. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I would love to see. Like honestly, like an entire world like that that's very Lovecraftian, with combat like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, set in like, you know, a Skyrim sized map, like type RPG kind of thing. That would be like that would be my game, and that's what I'm hoping Elden Ring is going to be. So that is probably my ideal game. I've thought about this a lot, and I think Elden Ring is going to be what I'm looking for. So when Elden Ring comes out, we're going to play that a lot. But thank you very much for the question, big boy. Thank you. All right, and next up we have a question from Demon. What made you start streaming as a hobby / full-time and made you commit to doing it? Okay, short answer, because I'd be here for 10 minutes explaining it otherwise. I was in college. I was super depressed. I hated what I was doing. I dropped out because I didn't like what I was doing. And then I basically told my mom this, and she helped me fund like a computer. Yeah, it was mostly because I always wanted to do YouTube. But at the time, YouTube was kind of doing really bad. And we were like, oh, we could just try streaming on Twitch. So it was pretty much on a massive whim. I dropped out of college to go and do this. But I was like mega depressed, hated what I was doing. And I wanted to do something that made me happy. And YouTube always made me happy when I did it before. So I said, why not try, you know, streaming on Twitch? And here we are. That's about it. Chadlord asks, how did you get into Tarkov? So I was streaming Diablo 3, and many of you guys will know this dude P-Bro came into my stream. This is back when I like very first started. He was asking me like, hey man, you know, oh, another Irish streamer, you know, nice to meet you, blah blah. And he asked me like, hey, what do you want to do on Twitch? Like, do you want to make this your job? And I was like, yeah, hopefully, you know, someday this will be my full-time thing, and you know, I'll do it, and you know, we can live off it and blah blah blah. And then basically he just said like, then why the fuck are you playing Diablo 3? on stream, this game is dead. And it was, like, the game was totally dead on Twitch, and the community was somewhat dead as well. So he basically said to me, come play Tarkov with me in a couple of days. And I was like, what the fuck is Escape from Tarkov? And then I basically went, I bought it, downloaded it, and ever since then, that's pretty much been what I've streamed. So P-Bro introduced me to Tarkov. That's how I got into it. What underwear do you use? So my favorite underwear at the moment, I wear Calvin Klein's that I got for Christmas. They're very, very nice. Calvin Klein's very good. And we've also taken to ordering MeUndies underwear. Very comfortable. Yeah, right. Next question coming from Brazymon. How big is your... Okay. What would be your go-to weapon in a zombie apocalypse? My go-to weapon in a zombie apocalypse. God damn. Probably a razor sharp katana, I suppose. Katanas seem to be very nice. It's very light. You know, you can move it quickly. It's not going to get stuck on things. It'll be able to slice through things really good because it's super sharp. I don't like the idea of using axes because, you know, with an axe, and then it's stuck in the head of the zombie, you know, and you got to, like, pull it off. And what if there's more? You need to be able to, you know, cut off the head and then move to your next target real quick. So I would say a katana, and then obviously, you know, guns of some kind, probably something with a scope, I would assume. I mean, it depends on the situation, but yeah. Nutter comes in and asks, do you wipe your ass front to back or back to front? Next question. Coming in from Diamond 8 Spartan, what is your favorite gun to use in Tarkov? Right now, I'm on a bit of an M4 buzz. I've really been enjoying using the M4 recently. However, I love using the TX15 and the ADAR. Those would be definitely two of my favorite guns in Tarkov. Probably the TX15. I know it's not as effective as all the other guns that people run around with, but I really, really, really like the TX15. Sounds really good. And yeah, it just works well. It's just a really, really fun gun to use. Berserk comes in and asks, any personal preference on scope, or do you think they are just objectively better than the rest? Oh, like the one that I use, or just scopes in general? So I always use a Bravo with a PK06 on top of it if I'm going to run a scope. Either that, or I will just run a PK06 and no scope. I haven't been using any other scopes other than the Bravo since they ruined the sensitivity on the Valde. I haven't been able to use the Valde since because the sensitivity is way too fast. Personally, I would love to see a sensitivity slider individually for every single different scope in Tarkov, so we could just tune it to whatever we want. That would be like a dream, because then we'd all be able to use whatever scopes we want. We'd be able to set them to whatever sensitivities we wanted ourselves. But as far as like preference on scopes, it depends on what map. But if you can bring a scope, I'd bring a scope. I even bring a scope to factory sometimes. I gotta bring a Bravo with a PK to factory all the time. Down glass hallway, down the office hallways. You know, scopes are very useful. Xanax comes in and asks, best way to make money apart from Shoreline, too many juice lords in the resort. Learn reserve. Do the rat runs on reserve, my friend. There is much money to be made, my friend. Also, do your scav runs. So many people don't do their scav runs. Your scav runs. And rat run reserve. You can make tons of money running reserve. All right, next question is coming from Rex Mellon on Twitter. You mentioned before that Showbot does a lot to help you out with your streaming / YouTube, etc. What would a list of things she does look like? And what would you say that if people are wanting to start streaming / making content, would they need someone like this to help them? Okay, so Show does like... Jesus, it's almost too long to list. So Show used to edit like every single one of my videos. I have taken to editing some of them now because I just kind of feel like I should edit some of my own videos. You know what I mean? But recent example, Show has literally just made our brand new merch store, which just went live, by the way. So you can go to, the link will be down in the description, Teespring link to my store page, and you can use code JUICE to get 10% off. Now, if Show wasn't around, I probably never would have bothered setting up a merch store. And if I did, it probably would have been complete shit. So over the last couple of months, Show has been on herself, I haven't helped at all with this, has been making designs, putting them on shirts, ordering them from tons of different companies, getting them all delivered here, checking them, seeing who has the best material, which designs look good, which designs actually work, you know, who has the best printing and stuff. So eventually we settled on Teespring, or she did rather. So without Show, there'd be no merch store. Without Show, she fixes all the alerts when something goes wrong. She does so much stuff like to do with like the social media. She pushes me to post on Twitter, Instagram, just organizing stuff with sponsors and just dealing with so much stuff that if it wasn't for Show, I would probably never get around to 10% of this stuff. And also she is there for me mentally as well, supporting me, you know, when I do my thing. Because if it wasn't for Show, I wouldn't be where I am now. God knows where I'd be. But yeah, she does more than I can even talk about. I could spend a 20-minute video just talking more than more than that on the stuff that she does for me. But yeah, she does a ton. Somebody who's new to making content / streaming, do they need somebody like this to help? I mean, no, but like, it helps. I mean, if you've got somebody who can partner up with you, I mean, we're a pretty rare instance of I guess creating content, you know, on Twitch, like where we're like a team. But I know that doesn't happen to a lot of people. But you can definitely do it on your own. It's just going to be a lot harder, and it's going to require a lot more time, you know. All right, Tim Bliet asked me on Twitter, how bad do you think the cheating problem really is? Because I personally haven't experienced more sus deaths in than a year ago. For me, on the North American servers, it is a nightmare. Like, it's really bad. EU servers, it's not too bad. Either that or there's a lot of people like low-key cheating with like wall hacks. They're not necessarily using like aimbots or something that's like super detectable. On NA, they're blatant as hell. It's insane how blatant they are on NA. But EU, honestly, it's so hard to tell some days. Either the player base has just gotten impressively good, or, you know, and everybody just turned into Shroud overnight. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a couple of people that are trying to slide by the system, and they're definitely using some form of low-key cheat. But NA, it's much worse. EU isn't too bad. Like, I maybe run into one a day, if even. Like, it depends. Like, if I play labs, then yeah, I'm going to run into a cheater pretty often. But on all the other maps, nah, not so much. I've also heard Reserve is apparently another pretty bad map for cheaters these days, but I don't really play Reserve, so I couldn't really tell you. Keith Hammonds asked, what is your advice for people who are trying to grow on Twitch or just starting out on Twitch? What's some advice you would tell your past self when starting out? Some advice I tell my past self when I was just starting out: focus on YouTube more than streaming. Back when I started streaming, there was a massive open market for YouTube content, and I didn't go near it, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't. And I can tell you a bunch of people who did. Pestily, for one example, who is now the biggest Tarkov streamer there is, and arguably one of the biggest streamers on Twitch. And Veritas as well. Like, both of those guys like slayed the YouTube content for forever, and they really reaped the benefits of it, like, big time. So if I could go back and do it all over again, or if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would have started with YouTube for sure. That would be one thing. But I have an entire video that's like an hour long. There'll be a link to it down in the description, Keith. If you happen to watch this and you want to check out that video, it'll be linked down below, because that is a topic that I can literally talk for about an hour about. There's so much in it. All right. And we have time for one more question. We've got a question from It's Still Me. Summit recently said on stream that he wishes the secure container was only for meds, keys, and quest items, and that you found a key or something in Rage, you couldn't put it into the sick case until after extracting. Thoughts? My thought on this is that I don't personally care if they made it so that the secure container was locked once you went into raid. When they added it, I didn't care. Now that it's the way it is with the found in raid stuff, I don't really care. I just kind of wish they'd either just make it one extreme or another, instead of just putting the little bandage on it. However, yeah, I don't know. A lot of people would be very upset if you made it so that the secure container was completely locked in raid, and then you could only take stuff or only put stuff into it when you were out of raid. But I agree with Summit here, and a lot of the other Tarkov streamers would agree with me for sure when we say that, you know, not being able to put stuff into your secure container during a raid as a crutch would be nice. However, being able to store quest items in your container during a raid, nah, I still think that the quest item stuff should stay the same. If you die with a quest item, then that's it. You should have to go back in and get it again. Just because you found your last gas analyzer and you put it in your prison wallet shouldn't mean that, oh, if I die, there's no consequence to that. I still think it should stay found in raid, found in raid. If it's not, tough. But that's just my opinion. But friends, that is going to do it for the first episode of Q&A with Twizzler. As I said, if you have watched this far, please make sure to leave your questions down below. Also, please make sure to leave a name suggestion for this show down below as well, because I don't really know what to call it. So I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys. And also, lads, if you've watched this far again, please make sure to check out the merch store. Tons of awesome designs on there. If you would like to go and have a look, I would appreciate it. And use code JUICE for 10% off at the checkout. So guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out, my dudes.